Welcome. In the last days, there came a moment where I went into meditation and I received a very, very interesting information. And I just want to share that with you because I think it can really allow you to become more of who you really are, create more awareness of who you are right now and where you might be still caught up in some egoic games in this time of transformation on the planet. And it was, I think I did some type of breath work, maybe added with another meditation afterwards. But anyway, the information that I received was the evolution of authenticity. And I love evolution and I love authenticity. So I explored that because, yeah, I think life is all about discovery and exploring the self. And I see myself as an explorer, and it's fun to explore the mysteries and the depth of life. So I wrote some things down for you so that we can dive into together now. So let's begin the evolution of authenticity. So in the human matrix, people think that authenticity is being honest about our limitations. We say things like, I'm just honest about my anxiety and I'm just honest about my doubts and all of that. This is all well and good, but it is pretty much just a well rehearsed script. True authenticity is the absolute willingness to exist without an energetic mask, without a defensive armor, and without needing the validation of the outside world to confirm my light as a master. It means I stop managing perceptions. This is a very important point, especially in my evolution. I found myself caught up in that many, many times. It means I stop managing perceptions of others and simply radiate the raw frequency of who I am right here, right now, with my sunglasses, with my boots, with my ice cream in my hand. This is a time and transformation on the planet where we all are invited to realize that we are all masters. We are all masters in a human body, and we play the game of transformation, and nothing is more spiritual than any other thing. So it's all spiritual, it's all the same. Authenticity is nothing but an evolution. And I categorized that into three stages of authenticity in its own evolution, so that you may find it easier to lock in to some of those frequencies and maybe see yourself in it and detach from it more easily. So the first stage is the authentic rebel. And as I explored that and wrote that down and felt that energy, authentic rebel. I mean, think about it. I personally, the videos in the past I did on this channel, they were completely in that state of being. Completely. So, in a sense, the authentic rebel is about the human who discovers that they are different. Yeah, you hear about all this information and awakening, and we are more in our body and all of that stuff. And the human aspect of us, of the master, is getting a sense of that and the ego discovers, or let me say the negative ego, because we all have an ego and will always have one on our time here on the planet, but it's about the negative ego. It discovers that they are different. So the ego somehow plays the spiritual game. And the thing is about the authentic rebel is they scream this truth at the matrix. They wear a spiritual identity like a badge, and it's authentic because you finally begin to speak your truth, that what you feel. But it is also exhausting for yourself, for your energy level, because it requires a reaction from the world to exist. So you discover that you are not really catched or part of the matrix anymore. You slip out a little bit, but this truth you discover for yourself, you're screaming it at the matrix. And this authentic rebel energy is defined by what it is against. It's a very important sentence. It is defined by what it is against. So this negative ego spark, this rebel energy of authenticity, may speak its truth. What's absolutely all right. It's a first stage of evolution in this thing right here. But it only can live that out in front of a matrix, and it's dependent on it. So the question would be, who am I when there's no matrix, no simulation in this 3D reality where I can shout this truth where I can shout this truth at. That's what I meant. So you have to become uncomfortable again in your own silence to let it be all right that you have your truth, and that's it. You simply are here with your truth. Can you be here with whatever it is you discover without letting anybody ever know that you discovered it? You have to be fine with that. And I, in this authentic rebel stage, oh my God, it's my past self journey in making YouTube videos was entirely in that state. I broke through somehow, and I opened up and I became authentic and I felt my truth, you know, but I shouted it out. Yes, I stepped in the unknown, and I did different choices, of course, and I allowed myself to show myself to the world. But it was totally defined by what I am unconsciously was against. So you may find yourself in this first stage, and it's all right, because you don't have to make it a process. If you see yourself in that and you realize that you are maybe identified with that, or your negative ego lives from that, you can let it go. And then you move up to a new frequency, and that might be stage 2. That is, I called it the holy protector. So the egoic mind in the stage 2 is receiving a grand vision, and or a dream, or a heart's vision, whatever you want to call it, an insight, a purpose that shows up for you. But it becomes a negative ego thing, because it treats it like something so holy and so pure, it must be protected from the mud, from the mud, from the eyes or the opinions or whatever of the world, of the matrix again. Authenticity looks like resisting structure, and the ego says something like, I cannot get concrete For example, with my vision on some sort of paper, or I cannot make the first step with my vision. I cannot allow it to come into form in its very first steps that it wants to come into fruition, because that would compromise my authentic frequency. It's a subtle hiding place. So, in other words, you, in that state, you are connected to more yourself, to more of yourself, but you think because you're still identified with those, with the, with somehow even the authentic rebel, you resist structure. You don't allow yourself to go fully into the step of, I own my reality. Look at this friend behind me. Hello, man. You don't allow yourself fully to be fully in your power, and you don't allow yourself to use the quote unquote old matrix world to give your vision and your dream or your passion a first tangible step. And it's very important. I tell you guys, old systems can open new doors. I make this experience myself right now. Old doors, because we live in quote unquote an old matrix. I don't want to call it for my experience in that way, because then I will experience it in an old way. But you know what I'm heading to. We're in a transformational age on this planet. This means, of course, there will be old systems, but what would be the sense of coming here as a master on Earth and not being able to fulfill and live out and manifest our dreams because the system is so old? So we are in a transformational phase. That means the systems are growing with us. We are creating new ones. And of course, life is always finding its way to get you what you need in every single moment. And what you need will fulfill you. So you're kind of protected from the old world. You make it so holy that you ultimately stop it. You ultimately stop the flow of the energy, of this vision, of this dream. And think about it. If you think you have to protect it because it's so holy for something out there, you are a victim to this thing out there, whatever it is, and you will find a reason to protect it, because that's the energy you're lingering in. So that was stage 2. After the authentic rebel, the holy protector. And the last stage I wrote some information about is the Imperium. I think I can call it in that way in English. The Imperium. Evolutionary authenticity is the master who is so securely anchored in his sovereignty that he can wear any costume, speak any language, and write any corporate paper without losing a single volt of his truth. This means you rose up to stage 3 in this level, in this frequency, where you're totally detached. You use, as a conscious, realized master, you use the matrix for yourself. You use the simulation for yourself, for your dreams, for your vision, for your own life path. And you know that when you step into a office and you need to get some paperwork done, then you do it as a master and you don't identify with it, you don't get annoyed by it, because you know that old ways, old doors open new doors. The old world opens a new world for you. It's all connected. And while doing that, while owning that completely, you're not leaking energy. And that's the interesting thing of it. You're not leaking your energy. So authenticity evolves from a defensive shield into a projective force. I no longer protect my truth from the world. I command reality with my presence, using the structures of the world as my playground. Again, authenticity evolves from a defensive shield into a projective force. I no longer protect my truth from the world. I command reality with my presence, using the structures of the world as my playground. In other words, you fully realize yourself as the master, and if you slip to any of those stages energetically, it doesn't matter. The main thing is, are you catching yourself and can you rise up again? Use everything for your advantage. I love these three stages. I see myself right now in stage 3. I feel that 100%. And let me know in which stage you find yourself in, especially in mastering your own life path, your own excitement and heart energy. Are you in the one, the authentic rebel, the protector in stage 2, or are you in the Imperium? That means you're the king and you realize that you use everything for yourself. You are ready to play the role because you just play the role, you are not the role, and you use it all for yourself, for your advantage. Write down in the comments, and I'm happy to hear from you again. See you in the next video, and let's explore some more energies together. And let's walk together to a new earth. That's what I prefer. Freedom, love, gratitude, and wholeness for all of you. Goodbye.